Hello everyone and welcome to another lecture of Python tutorials. In today's lecture we are going to learn about functions and recursion. So when a program gets bigger, its complexity also increases, the line of codes in there increases. To tackle that, we use some particular logic from our program, and at that time we use functions. Now let us come here to VS Code. Firstly we will create a file folder here. So I'll go to desktop here, then new file folder, and then Python 6, and I will go to VS Code, then I will go to file, open folder, then in desktop I will open Python 6 here, and I will get Python 6. Now I'll create a new file here, new file name functions.py. That is how I will create a new file here. So now, as I said, I will write a simple basic program here to find the average of three numbers. So how can we find that? I will write average is equals to bracket a plus b plus c divided by 3, and then I will print average of these numbers here. Now think, I will not do this again and again for a set of numbers if I have given so many numbers here. Suppose my first numbers are here. Let's suppose A is 3, B is 4, and C is 5. So here when I will run this code, so it will give me 4.0 as I have divided it, and the sum of this 3, 4 and 5 will be 12. So when it will be divided by 4, it will be divided by 3, it will give me 4.0 as my answer. Now if I am giving the numbers again and again, and if I am doing the same program again and again, repeating it, so that makes my program repeatable, and I'll show you how and when your programs become repeatable. So now let us suppose let us write here int input, enter the number 1. Now just like that, if I will copy this here and here, so now for doing this, suppose 50 times, I cannot do this again and again for 50 times, as it will increase my line of codes LOC here, and also it will be time consuming. Now to solve this, we will not use this, we will use function. Now the function is a piece of logic of this program. Now we can separate all of these using function. Now let me tell you how you can make it easy here. Now to make function, we use def here. What is def? To make function by ourselves, we use def. Now the def function is average function, and we'll use colon here. Then we will get all of them in, we'll get all of this in inside this function. So I have to give a tab space here like this, it will be inside our function. Now what I want to do is here I have to give this also inside, so this and then this. So this becomes a function now, because all of this is inside my def function here, not the def function, the average function. So def is basically defining the function definition. Now if I will run the code here, what it will give is, if it will give me nothing here, as you can see. Why it is giving me nothing here? Because we have not called our function. Now calling is another thing here in Python, in functions. And to do average here, to print the average here, you have to tell the Python operator that we need this function. To tell that, we need to call the function. Now how to call that function? We don't need to dial the number and call the function here like that. We don't need to do that. Here the function calling is basically like this. So you have to just write the function which you made using def. Now I have written here as average. Now if I will run the code here, it will ask me enter the number. First I will run in my terminal. Now it is asking me to enter the number. Suppose I wrote here again 4 5 and 3, so it is giving me 4 again. Now I don't have to write all of this code again and again. I can only call the function. Like suppose I have to do this 5 times, so I will just do it like this, or maybe 10 times. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So this is how you can do this. Can call the function. Now here I have called it 10 times. Now let's see what it will give me. I think F tab, and then if I will enter number, suppose 2 and 8, so it is giving me 4. Now again I have to suppose enter the number, so 5 10 and 0, it will give me 5. Now 23 like this, 23 and 5 6. Now like this. What has happened here is I haven't given the number here, so it is writing like this. Now you understand, right? What I am trying to do here is I have created a function, and inside the function I am running all this code, and then I am calling the function. And by function calling, you can run your code as many times as possible. So this is the feature of function here. Let us move here. Let us move here. A function is a group of statements performing a specific task. So function is used to perform a specific task. Group of function or set of program, the piece of logic of that program. When a program gets bigger in size and its complexity grows, it gets difficult for program to keep track on which a piece of code is doing what. So as I said, as the program gets bigger and the complexity increases, it gets difficult for a program to keep track on which piece of code is that. So we have to do it again and again. We have to write that code again and again. So for that, we have function. A function can be reused by the programmer in a given program any number of times. As I have run here also, I have run our function. I have called our function 10 times. So as many times as a programmer wants, he can call that function. Now example of that function, the syntax of the function look like this. As I said, we use definition tag here, or def, whenever we create our own function. Now why I am saying own function, we'll get into that. So then we will write function with parenthesis and then colon, and that inside colon we will write whatever we have to write, we want to write. Now function calling. Now function calling, as I told you, whenever we want to call a function, we put the name of the function followed by the parenthesis as follows. Now like this. So here in the average function here, I have created it like this. Now this is called as function calling. Without this, you cannot run your function or whatever is inside your function. What is function definition? The part of the part containing the exact set of instructions which are executed during function call. Now what is function definition here? Now function definition is nothing but this part. Whatever this def function contains inside it, it is called at function definition. And this is only called when we call a function. Now taking a quiz here. Write a program to greet a user with good day using functions. Now how to do that? Now to tackle this question, we have to come here and let's make another function here using def. So def, let's suppose I am making this function good day, uh, like this, and I want to print good day here. Let's make this d here bigger, as this should look like a function. Now print good day like this, and then I will call our function like this, good day, and call. So here this is the way to create a function and call a function. Now here you can also write good day and your name here, but the question has asked me only to print good day using function, so I have done whatever the question asked. Now this is an easy code. This can be done using normal print functions as well, but here function, it is asked that we need to use the function here, so I have used our function here. Now if I will run this, I will get Python f tab is equals to good day. Now good day is getting printed here. Now I can print it as many times I want by calling the function as many times as I want. Now the thing that I was talking about, when you make a function. Now you make a function. Now here comes the part that there are two types of functions. So what are those two types of functions? So there is one user defined function, not one user defined function. There is one type which is user defined function, which we use, which we make by using def function here, and then there are built-in functions which are predefined in Python. So you don't write or make these functions. These functions will eventually will get you. You will use them everywhere. But sometimes some people don't know that they are using a function, and they still don't know that they are using the function. So that functions are basically print, range, and suppose length is also a function. So these three are some of the functions in the category which they lie in the category of built-in functions. So these are the two types of functions here. Now sometimes we want that the argument should be provided in the functions. Now what are arguments here? Let us first read this. There are two types of function: built-in function already present in Python, and user-defined function defined by the user. Example of built-in function are length and range. As I have told you, the function we defined is an example of user-defined function. Let us move ahead. Now we will get to functions with arguments. Now what are argument? A function can accept some value it can work with. We can put these value in parentheses. Now here we can put some values, and these values are called as our arguments. So we'll get to that. Now let us go into this and make a new file here named as functions arguments, like this .py. We have created a new file here, and then if you remember the last function here, now I want here it should print my name or any other name after good day. So how will I do that? Now here I will write name, and then I will give it as a return. Let's suppose I want to return the value good day. Now I will write here plus and name. Now we have seen in one of our earlier lecture that by this process our string got concatenated. Now this is our parameter which we will use here. Now when we will call our function here, or let's not make it complicated, I will just write print good day plus name. So here our parameter. Now what is parameter? We'll get it here. Now what is this is our parameter, but it is now present in argument. Now we are making a parameter, and a parameter is used inside our calling function. So calling function is good day, and inside this good day we will provide our name. No, we will not write name here. Suppose I write my name, and now if I run this, now see here I can get good duration. Now I have not provided a space here, so now you can see I have created this function where I can print a name. When I will call the function, I have to just provide the name and I can get that name. Now if you want user to give this to you, you can also go with this. Suppose name is equals to input, enter name that the user want to print. Now here you will, I can not only give n name but also n. Now n here will be given and it will be automatically passed here. So now running this code, going to terminal, Python functions and tab. So enter name, suppose I give here Arjun name, so it will print like this. So that is how you can do by both the methods here. Now let's move ahead. Now suppose I am printing several names here again and again. Now if I will do, suppose here the name is there and I also want something else. Now I want an ending here. Suppose I take an example of ending and I will write here print ending also. Okay, now let's just see here. Now let's remove this and suppose we are giving it here as, now value you will pass two arguments here. Now let us suppose the output was here good day, now the name, and now I want to print here that thank you also should be written here. Now for that I will pass two arguments here. Now let's suppose I did this and thank you, then and again if I do it like this. Now I don't want thank you here on the last one. Now let's change name here. Now let us run our code here. Now as you can see here I am getting the two of the functions. Now here what is happening here is here I have given one parameter only, so it is only providing the argument 1, but here it says that goodbye day missing one required positional argument. Now here what is happening is I have not given one parameter here, so it is only providing name and ending is not there, so that is why it is not running here. It is giving me type error. So that is why I cannot use only one function here, only one argument here, or only one parameter here, and excluding that all of that will be printed which is present in our function. Let's suppose if I give it here as like this. Now what will it do? Now it is printing the name only. Now it is not printing thank you here. So you have to give something here because it is a positional argument. So there are different types of argument here. So we will not talk about the types of arguments, but here as you can see it is giving me the name, and as I have provided it the blank double quotes, so now it is providing me the name here in the argument name when I gave it a parameter with a name, and I have given it a blank parameter also for the position argument ending here. So that is how you can do you can make function for different things as well, different parameters of variables as well. Now let's get back here. See, we can have a value as default argument in a function. As I said, if we specify name is equal to stranger in the line containing def, this value is used when no argument is passed. Now see here, we can also give our argument directly here. Now here it is given name is equals to stranger, this is a function body. Now if I will run it and I will do like this, so it will always print the name will be Harry will be printed in the function body since it is passed here. So that is how so stranger will no longer be remain here. Now it will become Harry. Now we are moving ahead to the most important and confusing also topics of this chapter. Now let us see what are default arguments. Since we are already doing a good day function here, so I will continue with it. Now let's suppose I give ending here as thank you. Now what will happen here is I can write this like this in the F strings, like good day, and then the name here will be provided like this. Now if I give it this only, so I will get what? I will get this like this. Ending will already be provided, the thank you will already come, and my name only will be printed here. Now as we saw in our last case when we did not give the positional parameter to our argument, it showed us type error. Now sometimes that thing can be happening, and if we want the other positional argument like here ending thank you should be in every when we call function, so it should be everywhere. So now by doing it again and again giving the positional argument, we just give it a we just give already whatever we want to print in that in one argument. So and hence that our default argument is made whenever we print or whenever we call our function. So whenever the code gets printed when we call our function, so it will already print thank you as by default as we have given it in default argument. So that is how default argument work here. Now as you can see here, if I run this program, this will always give me thank you here. Now suppose I give good day and then I provided some and then I gave it. Now let's suppose I give it thanks. Now what I'm trying here is I'm trying to change the parameter here to see if the argument here changes or not. Now let's print it. Python here, as you can see, it has been changed. Now this works as a default argument, but it doesn't mean you cannot change it. If you give it in that place in the positional argument, it will always print, it will always get changed. So that is how you can do arguments parameters and functions in Python. Now let us move ahead to the most important topic of this lecture, which is recursion. So what is recursion? Recursion is a function which calls itself. It is used directly to use a mathematical formula as a function. Now recursion, as we saw here also, it is written that recursion is a function that calls itself. Why? Because its logic is always attached to that function only. Now what does that mean? We'll come back here again, but first let me just make another file here of recursion.py. Now I'll take you back to our example of factorial which I gave in functions only. So here I will try to make you understand what recursion is through that factorial function only. Now if I say how to write factorial of 5, so you will first let me just let's just use multi-line comments here like this. Now if I ask you to write a factorial of 5, so what will you do here is you will do it like this. So factorial of 5 is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Just like that you will write the factorial of 5, right? Now if I ask you, how will you write, first let me just bring it down here and comment this here. So let me ask you, if I ask you to write factorial of 1, so you will say uh, factorial of 1 is equals to 1. But now factorial of 2, so factorial of 2 will be, now let me firstly do this, and now let's write it just like that. If I ask you for 4, if I ask you for 3, if I ask you for 2, so what will you write? So you will write it like this: 2 into 1, then for 3, 3 into 2 uh, into 1, and then for 4, so 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Just like that you will write the factorial for all the numbers. Now if I ask you a factorial for 0, factorial for 0 is, factorial for 0 uh, 0 is also 1. So these are the factorials for every number. Suppose I have given example from 1 to 5, but there can be a number of examples for factorial, and numbers can be there to find the factorials of that n number. Now let's understand what it can give us, what this factorial here can give us. Now if I ask you to write any numbers, suppose any n number of factorial, so you can say that to find the find the factorial of number n, you can write it like factorial of n is equals to n into n minus 1 into n into n minus 2 into n minus 3 and into, and it will go on, and at some point it will become into 3 into 2 into 1. So can you see the pattern here for this factorial function that I have written here? Now it will start from n and it will keep on decreasing as we go from left to right, and it will at some point it will reach till here 3 into 2 into 1. So we can also write it like factorial of n is equals to n into factorial of n minus 1. Yes, I can write it like this. So after what I will do, it will always be there, n will be multiplied by the factorial of n, then again the factorial of n has to come in place. So that is how you can also write factorial of any n number like this. Also, this is again a new formula is created, new logic is created here. What is happening here is, this whole function here, it is written factorial of n minus 1, because this is the factorial of n minus 1. Once we will keep on decreasing the number, it will always become that factorial. So now let's move ahead. So to find factorial of any n number, we can say that you have to multiply that number n with the factorial of its n minus 1. So you have to do the product of factorial of n and then factorial of its n minus 1 also. Now we saw 0 to n number of factorial here, so we made our formula here. Now we can put it in our function also. Now if I make a function here, let's suppose def fact def factorial n is what it will return n into factorial of n minus 1. That is how I can write it in our def function. I have made a function for factorial here now, but for that I also need to write it. But for that to happen, I also have to give it the value of suppose if n is 1 and or n is 0. So now if someone gives the value 1 or 0, it will always become 1 because the factorial of 0 and factorial of 1 is always 1. Otherwise, the next function, the main function, the return function will get called and gets itself being broken down into several other functions and will return us our value of factorial. So now let us write inside this def function that if n equals to 0, or let's make it in one bracket only, otherwise if will be negligible, n equals to 0, so return 1. So it will return 1 only if it reaches 1 or 0 here. Now let's try to call the function. Firstly, I want to give user the authority to input the number here. So int input, enter the number to find factorial. That is how you will ask the person and user and to enter the number which he wants to find the factorial of. So here I will call my function factorial n. Now before calling, I also want to print it. So I will write it print. I will add an f string, the factorial of the suppose n of the number n is factorial n. That is how we will print it. Now we use a property here that a function can be written into its own term and it will go on and continue again and again, and we will use it in recursion to save our time also. Now suppose if I had to write it with for loops, so there would be more use of line of codes. It would have cost us more time to make the logic here and then make the program here, so it would have taken a lot of time. But with recursion or functions, we can make it happen in minutes. Here as you can see, I have completed my code here in 4 lines rather than doing it with loops, and that is how you will run this code. Go to terminal, Python, then enter the number to find the factorial. Suppose I want to find the factorial of 5, so it will give me the factorial of number is 120. So that is how you can find it. Now again, one more example, another function. Suppose Python suppose 3, so it is 6. 3 into 2 into 1 is 6. So that is how you can use recursion here. Now this function will go on again and again when you will enter the value here. That is how you can do factorial in recursion, and that is what recursion is. Now that we are done here, now let us understand this diagram here which shows us the factorial of 5. So here what is happening here is the same formula that we used here. 5 factorial is 5 into the 4 factorial, and it will 4 factorial will get broken down into 4 into 3 into 1. So that is how 4 factorial is written. Now this is also 4 is also a factorial, so it can be written like this. Here this 5 factorial is 5 into 4 multiplication of 4 factorial. Here it can be written like this. Then again 5 into 4 into then comes 3 factorial. So 4 factorial can be written into 4 into 3. 3 factorial can be written into 3 into 2 factorial. 2 factorial can be written into 2 into 1 factorial. 1 factorial can be written into 1. So that is how we have also made our code in the function that I have made. Now here, as you can see, 4 will come here, and then again will come 3 factorial, as we can see here. Then 5 into 4 into 3, and then will come 2 factorial, then 5 into 4 into 2 into, then will come 1 factorial, and again at the end we will get 5 into 4 into 3 into 1 factorial, which becomes 120. So at the end it will give us the factorial of the particular number, like that. So after resolving all this, we will get our value. Now this is recursion, and due to certain mistakes here, it can run forever. Like in looping, we saw for while loop, to get exit or to be stopped, we have to make a condition false. So that is how while loop stops. But here in recursion also, if anything goes wrong, so it will continue forever. This becomes like a loop, and will continue forever. But in these type of cases, recursion makes our work easier and faster also, if you know some mathematics. But sometimes due to certain mistake, it will again and again call itself and keep on making stack, like this stack every moment, and eventually it will crash our program. So that is why recursion are also held carefully and done carefully. That being said, as we are done with our chapter here, let me we will move ahead with our practice sets, and then we will do a project at the end. Now let us move ahead to our practice sets here. So now the first question here says, write a program using function to find greatest of three numbers. Now I have to find three greatest of three number here, but by using functions. So here firstly I will create question1.py here, and then to find the greatest of three number, we have to firstly take the input of three number. But firstly we have to create a function here. So now let's suppose my numbers are a1, b is equals to 3, and c is equals to suppose 5. Now I will shift them here, and I will erase everything. Now this I have done it wrong. Now I should do what? Just like that, I will bring them down here, just like that. Now we are good to go. Now let's make a function. See here, we will use if else def. Let's suppose my function is greatest, and then if a is greater than b and a is greater than c, so return a. Then elif a is b is greater than a and b is also greater than c, so return b. Now elif c is greater than a and c is greater than b also, so return c. And now we will print greatest number is. Okay, let me just give here the arguments abc, just like that. Greatest number is. Now I will call my function inside print only greatest a b c, just like this. And when I will run this, I will get the greatest number is 5 here. Let's suppose if I change this number here to uh, to suppose 3 and this number here to 9. So what will I give? What will I get here? Greatest number is 9, which is B. That is how you can do this question. Now let us move ahead to another question here. Now write a program, Python program using function to convert Celsius into Fahrenheit. Now to convert Celsius into Fahrenheit, we have a formula which is C by 5 is equals to F minus 32 by divided by 9. So we can write it like this only. This also, that C is equals to 5 into F minus 32 upon 9. That is how we can write it. Now let's create a function here, def. Now put it into a function which is suppose f to c or c to f. What is it in here? Convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. So c to f, Celsius to Fahrenheit here, and I will take the Celsius c and make it inside. Now return C, or you can also write it, or let's suppose write it return only, return C, this like this. Now if I want to give a C, so what will I do here is I will write C is equals to int input enter temperature in Celsius. That is how you can do it. And when I will print it, I will print, suppose print C. Now here something is wrong here. I have to print here the function C to F and C, just like this. So I will remove this C here because we are automatically will return this. So all of this is done here. Suppose I want to give in Celsius here question2.py. Now I want to give 108, so it will give me 42.2222 Fahrenheit here. That is how it will give me now I want that this is not looking very good. There are so many what I can say, so many decimal here. After decimal, so many digits are there, so I want to make it only till 2 digits. So we have a function called round function, which I will use here. Round f to 2 places, comma, and then 2 places. It will give you the decimal places till 2. So now if I will enter 108, it will give me 42. Now that is how you can do this question. Now let us move ahead to another. Now the third question here is asking us, how do you prevent a Python print function to print a new line? That is very easy. Firstly, let's create a file here, question3.py, and the answer to that question is that suppose I want to print a, then I want to print, and just like that I also want C and D. Now I will use multi-cursor here to write it like this. Now if I give end is equals to bracket or double bracket, so it's not bracket, it is quotes here, and D again, and double quotes. So this will prevent a function to add a new line here. Now if I will run this, as you can Okay, what has happened here is, so I have to remove this, and then it should print this. Suppose I want to print 4 or 5 here. You can see there is no line like it is there in AB. It is concatenated my number here, makes it 45, and end is not there. So this is how you can prevent the Python from making a new line. Now let us move on to another question here. Write a recursive function to calculate the sum of first and natural numbers. So to find the sum of first and natural number, firstly we have to create question4.py file here. Then we will come here, and just like we did in our factorial, here to find the sum of a natural number, we can write it like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus and till plus n. Now here if you want to write, so suppose if you want to write sum of 1, so it will be 1 only. Now sum of 2 will be 2 plus 1, which makes it 3. Now again sum of 3 will be 1 plus 2 plus 3. Now sum of 4 will be 1 plus 2 plus 3 and plus 4 here, just like this. Now again sum of 5 will be sorry, I have made it wrong here. Now suppose it was, I made it wrong here. I have to write it like this: 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, and here also 3 plus 2 plus 1, just like this. And for 5 it will be 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2 and plus 1. So that is how you can sum the n natural numbers starting from that n and ending to n. So it will eventually come to n one time. So we can also write it like sum of n is equals to sum of n minus 1 plus n. Yes, we can write it like this also. Here I have to shift it. I should shift it there, and we will get sum of n natural number becomes sum of n minus 1 plus n. So to make this end function, sum of n is equals to return sum of n minus 1 plus n. But here's a condition, just like we did in factorial. If n equals to 1 here, so return 1. So to make a base condition, now this is called a base condition. In factorial also we have given n is equals to 1 and n is equals to or n is equals to 0. That was a base condition. Now here is also a base condition. Now base condition is why base condition necessary, because here it in this function it will go till 0 and then again will go to minus 1 minus 2, just like that. It will enter into negative indexing, negative numbers, and to not let that happen and make it stop at 1 or 0, we have given here base condition. Now when the base condition will be there, it will only return 1 and will exit the program. So that is how you can use recursion here. And then let's suppose Now print this and call this function inside our print. Now I want to sum 4 natural numbers. Now it will give me 10 because 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 becomes 10, and after 1 the code will exit. So this is how you can do the sum of n natural numbers. Now let's move ahead to another question, which is write a Python function to print the first n line of the given pattern. Now this is the pattern here for n is equals to 3. Now let us make another function here, question 5.py file here, sorry, another file here. Now I've seen a pattern here which was this. Now first was 3 stars, then 2, then 3, which are looking like they are shifting towards, or they are aligned to the left panel. So here what I will create a function first, pattern of n, which becomes, so now firstly I am giving a base condition here. If n equals to 0, now make it more readable, return star into n, and then print n minus 1, just like this. Now if I call the function pattern, suppose for 5, n is 5 here, so it will give me this here 4. Now moving ahead with another question, here we have write a Python function which converts inches to centimeters. So here again we will have a formula to convert inches to centimeters, yes. So I'll make a function here, def inch to centimeter, and I will pass here an argument inch. Now to convert it inches into centimeter, we have a formula here, inch into 2.54, and this will return us the value. Let's take an input here, int input, and enter inches here. Now print the conversion of inches to centimeter is the conversion of, let's suppose, inches to centimeter is n is now let's run this. We will go to terminal, Python question 6.py. Start terminal, Python question 6.py. So if I type inches here, let's suppose 45 inches, it will give me 114.3 inches. That is how you can do this question. Now we'll move ahead to another question here. Write a Python function to print multiplication table of a given number. Let's suppose I will make a file here, question 7.py, and I will press enter. Now I have to make a multiplication table here. So how will I do that? First let's just make a function here, def multiply n for I in range 1 to 11. Now print f string here, n into I is equals to n into I, just like that. Now if I will call here my function, and I will provide it the value of Suppose I want to print the table of 7, it will give me table of 7 here. That wraps our chapter 6 here, and I'll meet you guys in the upcoming chapter, which is chapter 7. And now let's create a project, a mini project in Python, a game in Python. Now we all have played snake water gun game in our childhood. If you haven't, google the rules of this game and write Python program capable to playing the game with the user here. So now let me bring you here to our VS Code and I will open the folder. I have made a file here which is project. Now folder here which is project, and now I will type project 1.py, just like that. And when I let me increase the size a bit, just like that. Now to make a snake water gun here, now game here. Now first are the rules. The rules are like this. One is for one for snake, -1 for water, and 0 for gun. Now this is the rule here. If you use 1, so snake will be there, and -1 is for water, which will kill snake, and 0 is for gun, which will kill the snake also. So now here firstly let us just now we are playing with our AI or our computer, so we have to give a value to computer. So I will type variable here computer -1, or let's just suppose give it a random choice here, random. So for random to come here, we have to print import random here, so that we can do random here, random dot choice. So here -1, 0 and 1 will be the choices for computer here, so it will take random choices here according to this our game. Now here what you will now here what will be your choice. So USTR is equals to, I'm taking the choice of user, enter your choice, just like that. Now creating a dictionary here for these choices. You dict, suppose equals to S is our 1, W is our -1, and G is our 0. That is how these are the choices in the dictionary. Now let's make a reverse dictionary. Reverse dict is equals to 1 is for snake. I will tell you why I made a reverse dictionary here. -1 for water, and then 0 for gun. Now let us print here. Now I want to show what are the choices of mine and what are the choices of our computer here, against which we are playing. You chose reverse dict. Reverse dict, and the value you chose here will be not given here. Here you will be not defined. If I will do like this and then store you dict here USTR, just like that. So here again I will come here and comp computer chose reverse dict comp. So it will choose its choices that we have given in random choice. Now if I have to make conditions here, if comp equals to and u equals to 1, so what will happen here? Print u win. So now we have to make several cases here of if and elif. So let me just start with elif now. Elif. So that is how I have created my conditions here. Now this is the condition: computer choose 1, you choose 1, you win. Computer choose -1, you choose 0, you lose. That is how the things will work here. Now I have to write one more thing here, which is else. Now why not else? Firstly, I have to give if, because as we have read, else cannot be independent. Now if comp equals to u, so now you have to print draw, and then I will give else here, and inside else all these uh, have to come in place. Change all occurrences, I will go here and I will press tab. Now here also, if I will go here, I'll press tab here, and here also in else I'll press tab. So everything will be inside this function here. So what was wrong is here is the indentation is not here, so I will go to change occurrences and then I will press tab again. So this, I hope this is now right. Now since I have made all the changes here, so let's run our code. Go to terminal, I will write Python. So enter choice, suppose I choose W, you choose water, computer choose gun, you lose. Now if I choose, suppose Python, now suppose if I choose gun here, so again I am losing here. Again if I choose water gun, and now I will choose here, suppose snake here, so here I will win. Now this is again, now as you can see, not every time I am losing, not every time I am winning. So this is how we have finally made our code for a game which is snake water gun, and this wraps our chapter here, and I will meet you guys in the new one. So thank you.